2013 is over and we've looked at the best games of the year so far, and while 2013 had some great games, it also had some really terrible games. So stash your wallets and join us now as we look at the top 5 worst games of 2013.
Number 5. Gears of War: Judgment.
With its bite-sized arenas and arcade game influences, Gears of War: Judgment sounds like an adaptation of the popular franchise aimed at mobile devices.
There goes a record. What? I went from lieutenant to war criminal in less than a week.
As you were.
Problem is that it's a full-price retail release that manages to be worse than its predecessors in almost every conceivable way. While Gears could benefit from a major overhaul, hopping from major firefight to major firefight feels like being stuck behind the wheel of a car with a gas pedal stuck against the floor that won't shift out of first gear. If that wasn't bad enough, multiplayer is stripped down and key Gears mechanics like down but not out were stripped from the game, eliminating any sense of identity that the Gears multiplayer had. There are also meth addicts with more teeth than Judgment has maps. Out of the box, there are 8 maps altogether, and not all maps were playable in all modes. Not to worry though, a $50 season pass is available to make this game what it should have been out of the box.
Number 4. Dark.
Many years ago, Anne Rice showed us that vampires can be engaging characters tormented to live for an eternity preying on the living. Then Stephanie Meyer came along and turned these tortured beings into sparkling, sulking Abercrombie models with a taste for equally angsty and stupid teen girls.
You can't hurt me! You can't hurt me! Die!
Something similar happened with vampires in video games. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines gave us a rich RPG world with plenty of colorful characters and provided nearly endless ways to customize your character. Then Dark came along and bored us to death with its half-assed stealth gameplay and ponderous narrative. On paper, Dark should work. In practice, it's simply 5 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
Number 3. Mars Warlogs.
Warlogs looks like it has potential. Taking place on gritty Martian settlements and featuring AAA RPG features for a budget price, it seemed like it could be a sleeper hit. What we were treated to instead was an abysmally written game chock full of derivative quests starring some washed-up 80s punk band frontman. You will fight penis monsters, work alongside mutant slaves, and romance a woman named Mary, who kinda looks like Angelica's doll Cynthia on the 90s cartoon Rugrats. Mars Warlogs borrowed The Witcher 2's combat and coupled that with Mass Effect relationship building, then borrowed the art from Total Recall to create a dusty, red Martian turd of a game. It's quite clear that the developer, Spiders, simply bit off a bit more than they could chew.
Hey, you're not bad looking either. Get out. Yeah, you got a real pretty mouth.
Number 2. Aliens: Colonial Marines.
An Aliens game should really almost design itself. The classic sci-fi films are set up in such a way that they almost perfectly translate into video games, making it all the more vexing that Colonial Marines was a complete and utter failure.
What happened in there? We shit the bed.
Attention chicks and dicks of the USS Sephora!
First contact with the iconic xenomorphs is so poorly paced and built up, failing to build any tension before quickly coming to a close with a few blasts from your weapon. From there you face down waves of enemies that make Forrest Gump look like a member of Mensa. As if it weren't enough for Colonial Marines to be a terrible game, it was also falsely advertised by Sega with trailers that completely misrepresented the content in the final game.
Number 1. Ride to Hell: Retribution.
Alongside with being 2013's worst game, Ride to Hell also earns top honors for being the most appropriately named. It's a V-twin propelled sojourn, tinged with the stench of brimstone past lakes of fire, through hordes of lost souls being jabbed in the ass with hot pokers, and concluding with your own personal eternal torment, conducted by none other than Satan himself.
What a fine piece of man you are. You look like you need some oiling. Wanna get greasy?
It's buggy, juvenile, shallow, and simply abhorrent in the way that it manages to reduce some intriguing narrative concepts to ham-fisted caricatures. It's barely functional, and even if it did actually play properly, it's so poorly designed that it may be more enjoyable to snicker at its unabashed incompetence than to suffer through its stodgy design.
Good work. Good work.
Thanks for watching our video, and we apologize if you played any of the aforementioned games. If you liked our list, make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned to Analog Reviews as we continue to produce content into 2014.